This property report is powered by realestate.com.au. Know the value of your home today. Track your property now.
To property now, and with in-person viewings opening up to buyers in Melbourne, as well as more assurances from the RBA on rates, the market seems to have something of a spring in its step. Joining me now from realestate.com.au is John Healy. John, good afternoon. While, of course, these lockdowns continue, there are signs that seller confidence is returning, particularly in Sydney.
Well, that's right. Sellers in Sydney are feeling more confident, with new listings rising in the city nearly 12% month on month in August. That coincided with the New South Wales government making announcements flagging the pathway out of lockdown, and also the ability to conduct those one-on-one in-person property inspections. In those other lockdown markets around Canberra and Melbourne, though, it was a different story. New listings in Melbourne fell 27% month on month in August, and they were down 35% month on month in Canberra. So not as good news there. Nationally, the PropTrack listings report, though, found that new listings were down 2.3% around the country in August, falling to their lowest level since January this year. But they did remain more than 17% higher than at the same time last year. Also higher is Australia's property prices, and data from the ABS this week revealed that property prices did increase 6.7% in the June quarter. The total value of Australia's 10.7 million dwellings rose $596 billion in that quarter to hit a total of $8.92 trillion. And of course, contributing to those price rises that we've seen lately are the record low interest rates that are in the market. And the RBA Governor, Philip Lowe, said in a speech on Tuesday this week that he did acknowledge that the low interest rates were having an impact on property prices, but he did rule out an interest rate rise ahead of 2024, despite some analysts predicting and penciling in interest rate rises next year and through to 2023.
Looking ahead to this weekend, and scheduled auction numbers, they're looking up.
They are looking up. Scheduled auction numbers are up around the country this weekend. Nationally, we're expecting just under 1,500 homes to go to auction around the country this weekend. That's 19% up week on week, and 94% up when compared to auction volumes at the same time last year. And of course, most of those auctions will be happening in our capital city markets. 1,100 properties are set to go to auction around the major capital cities this weekend. That's an increase of 15% week on week. And looking around some of the capital city markets now, Sydney's expecting 25% more auctions this week compared to last. Melbourne numbers are up around 14% compared to last weekend. Adelaide's strong start to the spring selling season continues there, with a 24% increase in auctions there this weekend. Brisbane is down, though, around 14% week on week, and Canberra numbers are looking flat as well. But the good news for the Melbourne and Canberra markets, of course, is the announcements this week that in-person inspections will be allowed back in those markets again from Saturday, under restrictions, of course. So that will likely help to encourage those sellers that have been hesitant to list their properties recently to bring their properties to market, and that will ultimately flow through to higher auctions volumes down the track.
And a quick look back to last weekend, John, how did those auction sales perform?
Well, on the auction results available for last weekend, they were very strong again around our capital city markets. As we can see here, Sydney, Adelaide and the ACT all had clearance rates up above the 90% range. And those online auctions continue to perform very strongly in those lockdown markets of Sydney, Melbourne and the ACT, getting some very strong results there. Numbers were down slightly in Brisbane and the ACT week on week, but clearance rates were up elsewhere.
And just finally, which properties have caught the attention of potential buyers this week?
Well, the most popular properties this week are dominated by 4 and 5 bedroom homes on really large blocks around the country. Looking at the top five here, actually, they're all on blocks above 1,200 square metres, which is extraordinary. So large family homes on big blocks. That craving for more space has been a really key buyer demand during the pandemic, and that clearly continues. Good spread of prices too this week, with the guide starting at around $620,000 there for the home in Crafers West, right up to $9 million plus for our most viewed home in Brighton. But taking a quick look now at our fourth most viewed home this week, it's in the Adelaide Hills in a village called Mylor. This is a beautiful property. It's a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom home on nearly 12 acres, and a really interesting evolution of what was the original 1890s cottage that's now been turned into a really modern, sustainable home. And this property's set to go under the hammer on the 1st of October, Danica.
What an absolutely stunning property. It'd be nice to isolate there, I can say that. John Healy, thank you. We'll see you again next week.